Sometimes you can look at a picture and it can tell you everything that you need to know. And I'm going to back this picture up like a U-Haul truck one time. And I want you guys to take a look at this picture here. And some of you guys might be already familiar with the Athena Strand story. This little girl that went missing. I'm going to tell you it's very tragic. But before I get into talking too crazy about this story, I don't know what's going on with the YouTube system, but I'd love to keep my channel monetized. That would be awesome. So what I try to do is I try to present stories in a very honest fashion. But I always give a disclaimer, so I don't know why anybody would ever have an issue with my channel, especially when I give you guys a disclaimer before every single stream. So let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Isn't that so much easier? I could just hit the play button. That is awesome. I want you guys to take a look at this baby that is on the right-hand side of the screen. Like, I'm going to tell you, she looks innocent. She looks very smart. And I'm going to tell you, as a father, I want y'all to hear me. Ladies, I know we got a lot of ladies in the chat. I know we got a few fellas out there, but I'm going to tell y'all this. I am a father to a daughter. Y'all know I got 2 girls. I claim 2 girls as my babies. One biologically mine, one not biologically mine. I hate to think what I might be capable of if somebody did something to my daughters, to my children. The dude that you guys see on my screen, like, I would love to just take his face like some silly putty and just squeeze it until it doesn't have any more shape to it. When y'all hear what this dude did while he was on the job, check this out. A 31-year-old FedEx driver in Texas, so Texas takes the L, my state got to take another damn L, has been arrested after he allegedly confessed to kidnapping and killed a 7-year-old girl whose body was found on Friday evening. So this is very recent. Tanner Lynn Hornball. Let me see if I get his face back up on the screen. To be real with y'all, and I know some people feel like I'm being disparaging, but I'm going to tell you, when you look at his face, tell me if something don't look like something is wrong with this little boy. Let me back it up. Like, he looks like I don't know, like he went to like all transitional classes in school. Like, this boy went to school on buses that were like half the size of normal buses. Like, this boy went to school with a colorful helmet on, right? Like, something really looked like it's wrong with this fool. But I'm going to warn you, you're going to hear some details that are going to really, really bother you. Tanner Lynn Horner was taken into custody and charged with 1 count of capital murder. When they give you a capital murder charge, that usually means life sentence or the death penalty. So that's usually pretty serious, especially here in Texas. This girl is under 10 years of age, and you guys know that is called a super aggravated child abuse law. 1 count of aggravated kidnapping and the death of Athena Strand, according to Law and Crime, which is where I'm getting this information from. So thank you for the article. Now, according to Wise County Sheriff Lane Atkin, Athena went to school and returned home in her Paradise, Texas, to her home in Paradise, Texas at about 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Athena's father had left his wife and daughter at home to go hunting. And Athena and her stepmother allegedly got into an argument sometime between her arrival and her disappearance, which is really weird. We know that there was a little bit of an argument between her and the stepmom last night, but that isn't anything unusual, said Atkin. There was that argument, then stepmom went to fix dinner, came back to get Athena, and Athena was not in her room. Athena's stepmother at approximately 6:40 p.m. called 911 after realizing that the little girl was not in her bedroom, said she could not find her in the house. The stepmother searched for approximately 1 hour before calling authorities. Let me read that again because I want to make sure that I don't put out information that's not factual. If I say something that's not factual, if you guys catch it in the chat, Feel free to type in there and let me know. I'm going to read this again because maybe I got it wrong. Athena's stepmother at approximately 6:40 p.m. called 911 after realizing that the little girl was not in her room. And she said she could not find her in the house. The stepmother searched for approximately 1 hour before calling authorities. Please tell me if I heard something wrong. That sounded like she waited an entire hour before she called police. Does that not sound like something is wrong with that? Because I'm going to look this over. If there's something I'm missing, y'all can let me know. I'm going to try to see, was there another time frame in here? Nope. Okay. 4:30 p.m., there was an argument. 6:40 p.m., she called 911. And then after that, it says the stepmother searched for approximately 1 hour before calling authorities. Okay? Let's keep going. I'm going to just throw that out there. Something about that just doesn't sound right. Something about that doesn't sound right when you're telling me a stepmother, and you guys know that I believe in a nuclear family, biological mother, biological father, raising kids under the same roof. That's not how we do things anymore. Most of us get in relationships with people that already got kids, like me, like so many of us. Like, once you've already made your decision, you have to kind of roll with it. So I totally understand that. But at the same time, it could be a very dangerous thing to introduce your children to somebody that is going to be a part of the family who is not their biological parents, right? Thank you. My brother in the chat said he agreed too. Because I know he's a parent, I'm a parent. So if we date, a lot of times, especially if we get serious about somebody, they're going to meet our kids at some point. My whole thing is I just think that we need to make sure and introduce our kids when the time is right. If you get married, then that time is right. If you've been with a person maybe 6 months, maybe even longer than that, I can understand that. But a lot of times what you have happen is people are introducing kids way too early. I'm going to throw that out there as a red flag. Is that okay with y'all? I'm calling red flag. They got into an argument. Why would they be arguing that often? And I want y'all to understand because I'm going to tell y'all, I know other people have done videos on this, but I know one thing that people have not done. They are not going to point the finger at the mom and dad. Tell me that y'all have listened to any other podcasts or any other YouTube videos and they pointed the finger at someone other than this dude right here. Y'all agree or disagree? She said, dude's cornbread ain't done in the middle. Kim, I would have to agree. I would have to agree. How can that be a normal thing for the stepmother to argue with your daughter? I'm sorry, but as a dad, that shit is not going to happen. You nip that in the bud for whatever reason. I'm not going to have my woman hating my daughter. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for my daughter to be mad at the stepmom, and there's no reason for the stepmom to be mad. I believe that's the biological father's responsibility to fix that situation. But to sit there and say that that's normal, hell no, that's not normal. Do y'all agree or disagree? Take a vote in the chat. If you're listening, hit that thumbs up. But please type something in the comment section and let me know if I'm wrong about what I'm saying. Police ended up issuing an Amber Alert and began searching for Athena. Law enforcement authorities were joined in their efforts by more than 200 volunteers from across local communities. Unfortunately, her body was found approximately 11 miles away from her home. I can skip some of this. Sheriff Wise said that investigators obtained evidence showing that Athena was abducted from the driveway of her family home at the same time that Horner, who was a contract driver for FedEx, was delivering a package to the house. A tipster also helped police focus on Horner, according to Wise. We know early on in the investigation that there had been a FedEx driver made a delivery in the front of the house, and at the same time, little Athena 7-year-old Athena came up missing. Based on digital evidence and Horner's alleged confession, investigators determined that Athena was killed at approximately an hour after she was abducted, according to FBI acting agent in charge Jim Dwyer said in a press conference. Details surrounding how Athena may have died have not been released as of yet, but authorities have an autopsy that is scheduled here really soon, so maybe we'll get some more answers. Horner is currently being held in Wise County Jail on a $1.5 million bond, so I'm assuming that they probably got some pretty strong evidence against him. I'm not saying that I'm blaming the stepmom, but I'm just telling you something about that don't sound right at all. Why would a child and an adult arguing? I would never agree with children arguing with adults. And that's the thing about parenting, and most people don't understand. In order to be a parent, you don't do parenting beating your kids, spanking your kids, hitting your kids, yelling at your kids. That's not being a parent. A parent is a mental thing. And it starts from the moment that they are born. There has to be a large level of respect given to that child. Therefore, in turn, that child will give you respect. There should never be a time when a child should argue with an adult. So if something is just really, really wrong with that situation, let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's take a look. We got a couple news videos. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And let me give a shout out real quick. Chris Thorns, thank you, brother, showing some love. You guys make sure to check out Chris Thorns also. Actually, I think he did a story. I think our second story is going to be the one that he did on his channel. So make sure you guys go check him out and also share it in our community tab as well. Now, if you guys would do me a favor and please click that thumbs up and share this video. Let everybody know that we're here talking about this story. I'm going to skip through some of these news videos because some of them are a little bit repetitive. I get a little tongue-tied. But here we go. Let's get it.
This is a story we're going to stay on top of here because we're learning new details into the nature of the killing of Athena Strand. We want to dive into this a little deeper with some more details, like I said, with Fox 4 Dallas reporter Dion Anglin, who's joining us from Dallas with the latest. Dion, thanks so much for being with us. What more do we know? Because we're learning, like I said, new details about the nature of Athena Strand's killing.
Yes, and that information comes after a court record or court document was released today. And the new details shed a light on the investigation and, sadly, what is alleged to have happened to the 7-year-old girl. It comes just after you heard her mother and her attorney publicly vowing to hold accountable all who are responsible for her death.
Pink ribbons and balloons mark the area where 7-year-old Athena Strand's body was discovered, in the water just off County Road 4668 in Wise County. The suspect, Tanner Lynn Horner, guided Texas Rangers to the spot, where court records say he confessed to dumping the child after killing her. The arrest affidavit lays out much more, including what happened at Athena's home when he arrived there to deliver a package. When he was backing up in his FedEx truck, he accidentally hit Athena with the truck, but she was not seriously injured. The defendant stated he panicked and put Athena in the van. He went on to say when Athena told him she would tell her dad what happened, he strangled her with his bare hands in the back of the FedEx van. The records also explain why Athena's stepmother, who was home alone with her, was not immediately aware the child was outside. The stepmother was preparing dinner, and Athena was staying in a converted shed that served as the bedroom for her and her stepsister, next to the main home that is under renovation. The records also tell us Horner worked for a FedEx contractor called Big Top Spin, and evidence from a video monitoring system inside the van shows Athena was still alive.
Okay, I gotta take a freaking pause. Did you guys hear that? Lee Hellinger is saying it in the chat. She said, oh, BS. Okay, so here's what we got to remember. First of, yeah, a converted shed. What the hell is a converted shed? This is the father's biological child. Why is she not living in the main family house? Yep, said, here we go. Thank you. Let's think about this for a moment. First of all, because I'm telling y'all, tell me that y'all have listened to another YouTuber that has broken this down the way that I'm breaking this down. They probably just took it and said, here's the guy that's responsible. It was a FedEx driver. He accidentally ran over a child, which how do you do that? How can you be that level of stupid, first of all? Think about this, guys. This baby is what? How old is she? 7 years old. How many of y'all 7-year-old children would be able to survive getting run over by a FedEx truck? Not a Tonka truck, a FedEx truck. Right? That's number one. Number two, she got ran over by a truck and then said, I'm going to tell my parents on you. And he said, you better not. I'm going to tell my parents on you. You better not. And he took her and choked her and killed her, threw her in the back of his work truck, drove 11 miles away and dumped the body. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if I was a box of crayons, I might be a navy blue because I ain't the brightest one in the box. I'm going to tell you, where there's smoke, there's fire. Let's think about where the smoke was first. Let's think about this logically. Now, why would this FedEx driver or whatever it is that he does, why would he lie about this? That I don't know. Why would he put his freedom, his life on the line for this is beyond me. I don't know why anybody would, because allegedly he confessed to doing it. But here's what I do know. What we do know is when the girl came home at 4:30, what we do know is that the 911 call wasn't placed until 6:30. What we do know is that the stepmom said 1 hour prior to her making that phone call, she looked for the child for 1 hour prior to that, which means that you knew the child was missing and you waited an entire hour before you called authorities and said, hey, my stepdaughter is missing. After knowing that the father said that y'all are always in conflict. Everybody catch that? All right, let's keep going. Oh, and let's not forget this converted shack. This little 7-year-old Athena Strand girl doesn't even live in the main sector of the house. They put her in a shed to live. Let's keep going.
After she was struck, the driver and Athena inside the vehicle talking.
This is the package. It's the first time I'm seeing it.
The release of information just hours after the girl's mother held a news conference with her attorney. They displayed the package Horner is believed to have delivered to the home, a Christmas gift of...
I got to call this out, and I appreciate her saying this. Rampage said, even her missing child post was heartless, like she was posting about a missing cat. I'm telling you guys, something doesn't sound right about that. Y'all tell me if y'all seen anybody else talk about this and spoke about this story in this way, where I'm pointing the finger and saying that there's something more wrong here. This is not an open and shut case where the FedEx driver then murdered a girl for no apparent reason because he ran over her with a big ass FedEx truck.
Barbie dolls meant for Athena. The legal team is also conducting an independent...
You don't run over a child with, like, that type of stuff happens if when we tell our children don't run out into the street, look both ways. And if a child gets hit, you don't turn around and get out of your car and then strangle the child to death. How does that even make any sense? you would immediately think two things. First of all, get the child some help. Second of all, that's what insurance is supposed to cover for the medical expenses, which is usually why these people are working under contracts that will provide some type of insurance, whether it be medical, whether it be liability. The company would have to eat that as far as medical cost if an accident occurred. Yes?
Investigation.
We will uncover every person who is responsible through their actions or inactions for the tragedy that happened.
I was robbed of watching her grow up by a man that everyone was supposed to be able to trust to do just one simple task: deliver a Christmas present and leave.
Also, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if y'all are aware of this rule of thumb, but never trust anybody who has a head full of pink hair. I think that just looks fucking stupid, okay? She got a big, like somebody dipped her in a cotton candy machine and she got her stupid ass up here on this interview and all he had to do was deliver a Christmas present, y'all. Sitting there looking like a trailer trash ghetto lollipop. I don't know why you got your pinky in the brain looking self on camera to look this way, ma'am. I'm sorry, but you look quite ridiculous.
Now, Athena's mother says...
Back here in North Texas now, we are seeing pink, big pink wave once again all across Wise County today. A simple way to honor a little girl who was killed last week. Friends and even strangers gathered again today to remember Athena Strand. Here's Kevin Reese.
So many people are expected to attend the vigil tonight here at the First Baptist Church of Cottondale that the church has set up a stage in the lawn outside the church, where the pastor says even the family of Athena Strand will try to speak if they possibly can. The memorial in front of the church has grown twofold since yesterday. Pink balloons and stuffed animals now bathed at night in pink light. The church was a rallying point for the initial search for Athena. It is now where hundreds are expected to gather.
Y'all are saying that the stepmom got pink in her hair because it was the little girl's favorite color. Well, I wonder if the dad got his hair dyed pink. I get that, but you don't dye your hair pink. You maybe wear a pink shirt, maybe a pink ribbon. Again, I stand by my words. I think she looked pretty ridiculous.
Including Athena's elementary school teacher and also Athena's mom, expected to attempt speaking through their grief to the crowd that gathers here tonight. With little released yet on the investigation, vigils like this are where the people of these rural Wise County communities are trying to come to grips with the unthinkable, including the pastors who will attempt to lead this service.
I'd never seen her not smiling. She was always very happy and just big smile. I look at pictures of Athena now and I'm just thinking, like, how in the world can anybody, how can there be?
So y'all are saying that was the biological mom? Because according to all the articles that I read, I wasn't able to actually find her name. So I thought that was the stepmom. Maybe I could have that wrong, but we'll go back and tomato, I guess, for right now. But I don't know which one is which because they didn't specify. Maybe I missed it.
That much evil in someone that they could even, I can't even begin to comprehend.
The vigil here, where all of us are still trying to comprehend all this, starts at 6 o'clock.
Y'all are saying that's the biological mom, so I'll go with that and say that was the biological mom. I still think pink hair, nah, maybe go with a pink shirt. Said Maitland is the biological mom, Lizzie is the stepmom, where she lived at and disappeared from. Okay, there we go. Appreciate that.
The contract FedEx driver charged with murdering 7-year-old Athena Strand told investigators it all started with an accident. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. Court records show, they were released this afternoon, they show that the affidavit with Tanner Horner's confession, his version describes how an accident with his delivery van led to him killing the little girl. Fox 4's Dion Aylan has more now from the investigation. Dion.
Well, the new details shed light on the investigation and, sadly, allegedly, what happened to the 7-year-old girl. Now, this comes just after her mother and her attorney publicly vowed to hold accountable all determined responsible for her death.
Pink ribbons and balloons mark the area where 7-year-old Athena Strand's body was discovered in the water just off County Road 4668 in Wise County. The suspect, Tanner Lynn Horner, guided Texas Rangers to the spot where court records say he confessed to dumping the child after killing her. The arrest affidavit lays out much more, including what happened at Athena's home when he arrived there to deliver a package. When he was backing up in his FedEx truck, he accidentally hit Athena with the truck, but she was not seriously injured.
Stop right there. First of all, that is a big metal truck. How do you accidentally tap a human being with a big metal truck? And those FedEx trucks usually got little sharp edges on them, whether it's on the bumper or the rear. How do you gently hit a 7-year-old and not seriously injure them, number one? And what do these big trucks usually do when they're in reverse? Anybody know? Beep, beep, beep. So you mean to tell me, unless they didn't have some of those backup sirens, which I'm assuming that it probably did, then how is it that this 7-year-old girl didn't hear that, unless you're telling me that she couldn't hear either? I'm just telling y'all, nothing about this makes any sense.
I want to show you the live picture because we do have it here for you on Live Now from Fox, coming to us from Wise County, Texas. Now, the mother of Athena Strand is going to be speaking out on.
She has some
Opportunity to grow up to be
Okay, so
anything she wanted.
that's the biological mom, I guess, with the pink hair. Okay. So apparently this is the biological mom. Still should have wore a pink shirt, not pink hair.
To be. Uniforms don't show up on our children's doorsteps.
Okay, wait. Let's pause. Somebody in the chat said they drive way too fast. So again, that takes me back to my original point. How do you not seriously injure a child if you were driving fast, according to what you just said in the chat? Let's think about that for a moment. The faster a vehicle goes, if it touches a human body, it is going to injure them. The slower you go, the less likely it is to cause serious damage. So if they weren't going slow, then it would have seriously hurt the girl really, really bad. But just the fact that they're saying that the truck hit this child, I'm saying that doesn't make any sense. I don't believe that story.
Delivery in front of the house about the same time that little Athena, 7-year-old Athena, came up missing. And continued good work by this investigative team, they were able to determine that the driver abducted Athena.
The kidnapping and murder of little Athena Strand, allegedly by a FedEx driver, is haunting America today.
With the holiday season in full swing, do parents have to worry about all those thousands of delivery people coming to their front doors, dropping off gifts and packages?
I spoke to security expert and former NYPD officer Bill Stanton. He says never leave children's toys in front of your home.
To a potential bad guy, predator, pedophile, they see these toys, this is like window shopping for the bad guy.
Another tip, have security cameras prominently displayed.
Bad guys want to hide in the shadows. They don't want to be seen.
So you want to show your cameras? You don't want to hide your cameras?
I personally do both. I have overt and covert cameras.
Another tip, get a dog.
A protection dog or even a family pet. Anything, any canine that's going to bring awareness to anybody coming near the property line, that dog's going to bark. Anything to scare off a potential predator.
Police say 7-year-old Athena was abducted from the driveway of her home outside Fort Worth. Her body was found 2 days later. Now her heartbroken mom is speaking out. I cannot describe the pain and absolute anger I feel. My princess was taken from me by a sick, cruel monster. Athena's grandfather says, while tears flood my eyes, I forgive this man. Hate will not win. I do this to honor our precious Athena, who knew no hate. Today in Texas, students are being urged to wear pink in her memory. Pink was Athena's favorite color. And we're learning more about the 31-year-old suspect, Tanner Horner, who police say has confessed. He reportedly once drove for Uber, but was banned. But in a statement, FedEx says Horner was hired by an independent contractor and was subject to criminal history background checks.
A vigil is being held tonight for Athena.
Heartbreaking end to a 2-day search for a missing 7-year-old girl. Late last night, we learned search crews found the body of little Athena Strand. Now, she was last seen just more than 48 hours earlier in the town of Paradise. That's in Wise County, west of Denton. Her entire community came together to find her, hoping for a different outcome. This is a difficult story, but here's what we know this morning. Police got a tip yesterday about Athena, and that, along with their own investigating, led them to 31-year-old Tanner Lynn Horner, the driver of that FedEx truck who was delivering a package to Athena's home. Now, he's now in custody, charged with abducting and killing the young girl. The sheriff's office says he confessed and told them where to find the body. Horner is being held on a $1.5 million bond.
It was a monumental task. And because of the cooperation, because of us working together, it hurts our hearts to know that that child died. So much so that she is on her way now to the medical examiner's office. And there's a Texas Ranger in front of her, and there's a Texas Ranger behind her.
As you can imagine, the sheriff says Athena's family is angry and in utter disbelief. Now, this morning, FedEx shared this statement about the tragedy, saying, "Words cannot describe our shock and sorrow." The company offered condolences to the family and says it's cooperating fully with this investigation. Now, let's go ahead and stop that right there. Let me give you guys my closing thoughts about this. First and foremost, it's always bittersweet when we can at least get an answer, because in a lot of cases, they don't even find the bodies of these missing children. So at least we were able to get some closure to that extent. How we got to this point of this dude being such a bad driver that you hit a child while you're going in reverse, allegedly, according to what I read. The child either didn't hear it or you did it so fast and it hit the child, but she wasn't seriously injured. She said she was going to tell. You strangled her, threw her in the back of your truck, drove 11 miles and dumped her in a wooded area. But prior to that, let's go back and look at the stepmother. The dad came out in this article, like I said, unless I misread it, I could go back and read it again. Let me go back. No, I'm not trying to buy a jacket. Let's go back and read this. And again, you guys can go to lawandcrime.com according to what's here. Let me make sure. Where is it at? Hold on. Okay, he's in custody. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Athena's father, who I'm assuming that's the biological father, had left his wife and daughter at home to go hunting. And Athena and the stepmother allegedly got into an argument sometime between her arrival at home around 4:30 p.m. and her disappearance. We know that there was a little bit of an argument between her and her stepmom last night, but that isn't anything unusual according to Wise County Sheriff Lane Atkin. So that was normal. That was normal. Arguing with children is normal. Let's go back to this makeshift bedroom. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Where's it at? The shed. Maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was in a news video. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so it was in the news video. So you guys can actually rewind that and go back and watch that. But they are claiming that the little girl's area where she was staying at was a renovated shed that they turned into a makeshift bedroom, which doesn't sound right at all. If this is this man's biological child, why would she be living in a house that is not in the main domicile? Nothing about this makes any sense. I hope we start to get some real answers. If that dude really did this, I would just want to know why. Like, why did he have to go to this extent? Nothing about this story makes any sense. But what I will say for now is to Athena, she seemed like a bright little girl who could have grown up to become anything. And we'll just say, young princess, R.I.P. And we'll leave it like that. Maybe we could do an update when we get some more solid answers. But let me say thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And if you have a comment about this or if you know something about this, please type it in the comment section or send me an email if you guys have some other news articles from news websites. Don't send YouTube videos, but if you can, send them from the news website so that way I could actually verify the information that's there. But you guys got my email address, theafcmatters@gmail.com. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you. And for those who are listening to the sound of my voice, we actually have 5 stories. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our second story, which is going to be on the right-hand side of the video thumbnail. Excuse me. So every one of these stories is going to be real crazy. So I want you guys to kind of brace yourselves. If you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up. We got a decent amount of people here, but we want to bring more people here. We got people subscribing to the channel every day. But I want to make sure and see more of you guys here. So let's talk about this baby. And I actually reached out to the biological mother, and I'm going to tell you guys, I do not think...
There's still a lot of questions about this.
I didn't want that to play. So some people say, well, Jay, why don't you ever reach out to the family members? Well, I reached out here. I reached out to the biological mom. I got no answer. So now I'm going to just say what I was thinking and give my real honest opinion about this story. She's probably not going to like this when she wakes up tomorrow and sees what I have to say. But I gave her an opportunity to come on. If she didn't want to do that, then that's perfectly fine. She definitely does not have to. But I am entitled to my opinion. So let me double check. Let me make sure she didn't send me a message. I don't think she did. Let's see here. Oh, okay, nice. Okay, thank you, Kim. I just saw that. Thank you very much. I just saw that. And Lee, let me see. Okay, thank you, Lee Hellinger. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and say, preach, Jay, you're always real. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. So, yes, we're going to do 5 stories. Please update us if you... Look, I will absolutely update y'all because, first of all, it's a Texas story, and nothing about it makes any sense. So, yes, I'm absolutely going to update you guys when we find out more about Athena Strand. I'm telling you, something about that story is not right. But let's talk about this, what you guys see on my screen. I got to give a shout-out real quick. Big shout-out. Chris Thorns donated twice. Chris Thorns, if you're still listening, brother, I want to say thank you very much. Y'all sub to his YouTube channel, please. So Chris Thorne said, for showing love, thanks. Let me see, what else did he say? Thanks for shouting me out. Man, you're more than welcome, brother. You are more than welcome, Chris. That's the least I could do. And we got a happy holidays from Kim Fairchild. And again, I always tell you guys, I'm going to keep the amount that people donate private. So I know what it is, but I don't think it's everybody else's business to know how awesome people are that want to support what we do, support our message, support our platform, keep us going, and just really just show love in an amazing way. So Kimberly Fairchild, if you are listening, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. She said happy holidays, and happy holidays to you and your family. I truly, truly appreciate that. But I will keep your amount private that you donated, but I did see it, and I'm very, very, very grateful. So hopefully you heard me shout you out. I truly appreciate that. Also, let me say thank you to, make sure I can say your name, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you for being awesome, Jay. That is from Christy. Christy, are you in the chat? Want to say thank you, Christy, to Ash and Emmy, Chris Thorns, Kim Fairchild, she's right there, Cynthia M, and Jimmy D. And also thank you, Revenge from Australia, says showing some Aussie love. I've missed you, Jay. Glad and I'm honored. Thank you so much for sending in that awesome super chat and for being a channel member. So I appreciate that. Big time. Truly appreciate you guys. Are y'all ready to talk about this angel right here? Let's talk about this. Let me get my next story up. If I can get it to click. There we go. So this is out of California. Do we have anybody here from California? Did the mom even see that message that I sent her? Nope. Oh well. Well, I gotta say what I gotta say. I'm gonna just have to be honest. Oh man, I hope you guys are ready for this. Love you right back. Thank you, Kim. We truly appreciate that. Big time, big time, big time. And you're always showing love, and I cannot thank you enough. Truly appreciate that. I want you guys to take a look at this baby on my screen. She's so innocent, and her story is very tragic. But what I like to try to do is I try to make sure and analyze these things in a way where not only we can understand how we get to this point, because a lot of times these people aren't telling us how we get to this point, okay? But I try to tell people in a cautionary way how I believe that we can avoid these situations, especially because I'm from the Black community, and I think that I have some ideas how people could help prevent these tragedies to children. But before I get into the story and before I say anything inflammatory, I have to give you guys a disclaimer. Let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And finally, I can give the L to somebody else besides Texas. So California, y'all are taking the L. I'm not sure what part of California, but let me tell y'all this. I'm going to say this again, and I want people who watch this video on the replay to hear one of the first things I'm going to say. To my ladies, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Stop making men fathers who are under the age of 30 years old. They are not worthy of being fathers. Too many of them are unstable financially, emotionally, spiritually. And stop having unprotected sex with these thugs. I don't understand this. I will never understand it. And I say that and I speak to the ladies because I'm going to speak to the group that I believe when they say that y'all are smart, you guys are powerful. I believe it. So I'm going to put the power in your hands because life and death is in your hands. And I'm going to say, please stop bringing children into this world without a plan and with the wrong people. Because I'm going to tell you guys, I don't have a lot of faith in men. Let me say that again. I don't have a lot of faith in men, especially men under the age of 30 years old, being a father. For me, I was made a father, I chose to be a father and was welcomed into this world as a father at the age of 24 years old. I felt like I would have done more of a service to my daughter if I would have waited until I was at least 30 years old, when I'm more stable and ready. So when I point the finger out there, I'm pointing the finger back at myself also. Yes? That's fair. This baby did absolutely nothing to deserve what happened to her, but I do have a theory because I'm going to tell you, Law and Crime is just going to give you the news story. Thank you for the article, but they're not going to give you the theory. But here we go. A 22-year-old father, and I'm going to call him unstable, in California is behind bars this week after his 1-year-old daughter was found dead in the LA River. This boy's name, let me show y'all what this boy's name is. He ain't a man, he's a little boy, he's a little bitch. Let me show y'all this. This man His name is Javion Lewis Burley. Javion. Ladies and gentlemen, across the world, listening to the sound of my voice, y'all, please tell me how many good fathers do you know who have the name Javion or Kentavion or Quantavius or Martavion? What do I say? Stupid names equals stupid things. You're going to end up with a stupid product, a stupid person. When you give children names that don't mean anything, I think it lessens their value, and some of them get lucky to overcome it and become something great. But that percentage is so small. It's so small. I don't know why we go with the microcosm and think that, oh, we're going to give him a unique name. How about you give him a normal name? How about you give him a name that actually means something? How about you give him a father in his life? One thing that I could tell you about Javion, I am absolutely assuming, I can almost guarantee you that 22-year-old Javion didn't have a daddy in his life. Because a lot of these young generation of kids are coming up under broken homes. They are not being raised in the nuclear family, biological mother, biological father under one roof, by way of the social construct called marriage. Most people aren't raised in that. Not this younger generation. I was fortunate enough to have my mom and dad under one roof. Not everybody can say that. Even then, it was imperfect. But I'm thankful for what I did have. Stupid names equal stupid things. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Can you guys go ahead and start typing in those hashtags? What are our AFC hashtags? Are y'all ready to get it in? We ain't even started with the story yet. Let's get them hashtags up, please. Hashtag live by the thug, die by the thug. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag TTOTTT. Hashtag hood hoes love hood dick. Hashtag no jail time, give them hell time. Let's get them up, okay? 22-year-old Javion was taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of child endangerment and the death of that little baby right there. And that baby looks so sweet with her big pretty eyes, her little chunky face. Let me see if I can get a solo picture of her up here. This really upsets me to my core because y'all know I'm a father and I'm a father to a black child. I love my daughters. I love my daughters. This is inexcusable, what he did. According to a report from the LA ABC affiliate, KABC TV, a woman later identified as Burley's mother on Sunday evening called 911 at approximately 10:45 p.m., 10:45 at night, to report a possible missing child. She reportedly told the emergency dispatcher that the father, Burley, went to Long Beach to pick up his 2 children from their mother and bring them to the residence he shared with the mother in Inglewood. When he arrived, however, he reportedly was only accompanied by 1 child. Let me say that again. When he got home, he only had 1 kid with him. Let's talk about that for a moment. They're referring to him, if I'm not mistaken, as the dad of this child, of this baby. Or was he? Was he the dad? If he was the dad, then why would he take his anger and frustration out on his own flesh and blood? I'm not saying he should have did anything to the other child either, but why would he pick one over the other to abuse to the point of murder? I'm just asking because I believe something caused that. Did he not believe that that child was biologically his? Was the mom cheating? I don't know. Thank you, the Thug Zoo. And I want y'all to remember that thug does not refer to a skin color. We refer to thug as an action. That ain't got nothing to do with skin color. So I want to throw that out there so people don't misunderstand. Now, officers with the Inglewood Police Department responded to the residence located in the 3000 block of North Market Street, where they made contact with the victim's grandmother and began searching for the missing child. And if I didn't tell y'all, I'm getting this from lawandcrime.com, so thank you for the article. The IPD, working alongside officers in the Long Beach Police Department, discovered the little girl's remains in a shallow area, in an area shallow water just below Ocean Boulevard Bridge in LA River, according to a report. While authorities have not released details regarding the manner in which they believe that his daughter was killed, Lanisha Hull, who is the child's mother, let me see if I can get her face up here. Get mom's face up here, which is... see if I can find it. Right here. That's the child's mother. And she provided additional information about the circumstances of Leilani's death in an interview. Hull said that Burley appeared upset when he picked up their children, but that his behavior wasn't anything that she found concerning. He came to pick up the kids, an emotional Hull said through tears. He was angry at the time, but that was normal. What was he angry about? She said that he was angry, but that was normal. How is anger normal? Anger is not normal. To be upset all the time? Why is that normal? Let me give a shout out Kimberly Flower. Make sure you guys go subscribe to her YouTube channel. Much love. Thank you, Kimberly Flower. He's coming to pick up your children with an attitude. Apparently a severe attitude. How can that be normal? That is not normal, first of all. But let's keep going. She said that he didn't look like he was panicking or anything. She reportedly said that Burley failed to put the 1-year-old in her car seat when loading the kids in the car. Hull reportedly said she then strapped the child into the car seat and watched Burley drive off erratically, stopping and starting the vehicle several times. But did she call police when she saw that? Hull further claimed that the daughter's body was found in LA River because Burley tossed her off of a bridge. And I don't know if y'all saw that bridge. Let me see if I can bring up a picture real quick. We are live right now, so y'all bear with me. Let me see if I can bring this up. I need to put this on the full screen. Do I have a better? I think this is probably the best picture I could show until we get to the news videos. Uh-oh. There we go. Right here. Right here. Do y'all see how far of a drop that is? And that's at low tide. That's at low tide. Can everybody see that? Or do I need to break out my trusty whiteboard real quick? I certainly can do that. Let me see. Where is it at? Uh-oh. Can I not find it? Well, maybe I can't bring it out. Oh, there it is. Let me make this into something you guys can see. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the bridge. And the drop goes from here all the way down to there. From the bridge area up here, this looks like that's maybe about 5 foot, 4 foot tall. So imagine how far down of a drop that is. 5, 10, 15, 20, about what, a 30-foot drop? I'm assuming that's probably about a 40-foot drop from here all the way down to that point. And Kimberly said, hit that thumbs up, sending a super chat, showing some love. Kimberly, I always appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you also for what you do on your channel, man. I need to get over there more often and show some love over there. But thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Just my guesstimation, that looks like that's about a 30-foot drop. Maybe y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's taller, maybe it's shorter. But he tossed her off the bridge, according to the mom. Let me see if I can show y'all that screenshot. Because I was able to screenshot a few things from mom's Facebook page. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. Take a look at this. Right there. I just actually passed it. This is from the biological mother's Facebook page. He threw her off the bridge. Let's talk about what this person said in the comment section. This person left a comment and said, "What's the likelihood that he has postpartum depression? Just asking." Now, he's actually putting in a rhetorical question, but let me tell you why I think that's actually a fair statement. Because if you think about it, what is postpartum depression? Let's actually look that up. How about we look that up real quick so I can give you guys the actual definition. What is postpartum depression?
According to Mayo Clinic, depression that occurs after childbirth.
Depression that occurs after childbirth. And I want you guys to notice that the definition didn't actually read and say that that only applies to women. It says depression that happens after childbirth. But more times than none, we reserve that for women and say that a lot of women suffer from postpartum depression, right? But you would have to ask, what is postpartum depression? You start to regret having a child? How many men out there regret having a child, especially when they're not the ones giving childbirth, right? Some of them may have even asked for a, what do you call that? An abortion? Maybe the mom was like, nope, I don't believe in abortion. That goes against my spiritual religions and all of that, right? But then they throw that lasso around his neck and say, well, you're going to be on child support on top of that. Right? So one would have to ask, if I just read you guys the definition of postpartum depression, then why can't men suffer from postpartum depression? I'm not saying I want the excuse. What I'm saying is I don't want the excuse for anybody. I don't want it for men. I don't want it for women. I don't want it for anybody. Okay? Now, y'all asked about a GoFundMe. Of course, there was a GoFundMe. We're kind of jumping into the story a little bit further than what I wanted to, but it's okay. Let's talk about this GoFundMe. Let's talk about this good old GoFundMe. Leilani Dream Burley. You guys can look this up. The GoFundMe is by the organizer, Lanisha Hull, who is the biological mother. Can we get a hashtag babies for benefits? Lanisha Hull asked for a $30,000 GoFundMe. What does she say in that GoFundMe? I think I can actually pull that up here. Give me a second. I think I screenshotted that. She said, hello. Oh, actually, I could show you guys on the screen. Hold on. I could show you. We're doing this live. Y'all bear with me. Hold on. Right here. Let's make this bigger so you guys can see it. Right there. She said, hello, my name is Lanisha Hull, the mother of Leilani Dream. On Sunday, December 4th, Leilani and her big brother were picked up by their father, which was a normal routine, but never arrived to the destination. Leilani was then reported missing. On Monday, December the 5th, she was found lifeless in the river, which he admitted to tossing her over a bridge. She's talking about the biological dad. Leilani was murdered by someone who was supposed to protect her, someone she thought she could trust, someone who was supposed to keep her safe. Her father, her 22-year-old father, by the way. I'm so devastated and can't fathom the thought of pain and suffering my baby endured. I ask that you help me lay my sweet baby to rest. Nothing is too little. Even a prayer will help. I thank you kindly. Aw, ain't that such a beautiful message in the GoFundMe? But I want y'all to think about this. People say that they don't get life insurance on their children, like Gerber Life is a few dollars a month. Thank you, Spicy Kai. Thank you. I used to talk about Gerber Life all the time. If you can't afford Gerber Life insurance for your children, then you should not be a parent, first of all. Somebody in the chat asked, does a funeral really cost that much? Hell no, it don't. And I don't mean any disrespect to the baby. But what I am saying is, why can't we call out the fact that the parents are being stupid? Right? Why can't we call out the fact that the parents are doing stupid things? $30,000 for what? You didn't give her a $30,000 life. Why would you give her a $30,000 death? Does that make any sense? Probably didn't have a babysitter. And you're asking for 30 grand. For what? Even if she collects it all, I can guarantee you she won't take that and put life insurance on her son. She won't put that up for a college fund. You know what she gonna end up spending that money on? Get her hair, nails, and toes did so she can get some new outfits. Maybe get her a big screen TV, get some rims for her car so she can go to the club, maybe take a vacation, go to Vegas, go gamble. Next thing you know, you look up 6 months later, she's broke. And her son has nothing. Tell me when I said something that's not factual. That's not even this mother thing. That's not a black thing. That's not a young parent thing. That's a human thing. Yes? That's a human thing. Humans do stupid things with money. Let's keep going. She claimed that the dad tossed this girl off of a bridge. She said, "My daughter was murdered by her father. He threw her off a bridge. I don't understand. Why would he do this to my daughter? I just don't understand. How can a father do this to his own child?" Hull's 3-year-old son was unharmed. The distraught mother reportedly said that the little boy keeps asking where his sister is, a question that she has no answer for. Inglewood Police Department urged anybody with information relevant to this case to call 310-412-5246. Burley is no stranger to run-ins with the law. Let me say this again. Can we get a hashtag? When you date thugs, you date death. They said, and I quote, "Burley is no stranger to the law." He was arrested in 2018 after he and 2 accomplices allegedly robbed a Domino's pizza delivery driver at gunpoint, according to a report from the Daily Press. How broke are you at 21? No, actually, let me see. So 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. So 22, 21, 20. So he was 18 years old. How broke were you at age 18 years old if you're robbing somebody for essentially tip money? Because most of these transactions nowadays, they're paying for by way of their credit cards and debit accounts. And they might tip them cash in person, right? I've never been a delivery driver, so I don't really know how that works now, especially nowadays. But most people are ordering, for the past, 5, 6, 7 years, have been ordering through apps. How broke was he? Probably having sex, probably already making kids, because this little girl was, let me see. She's 1 year old, but the little boy looks like he's about 3 or 4 years older than her. So this was around that same time. So he probably already was a parent at this point. He robbed a Domino's delivery driver at gunpoint. Burley was found in possession of the weapon used in the commission of a crime, a black mask, and other evidence pertinent to other evidence pertinent to the crime, police said at the time of his arrest. Police also believe that Burley was responsible for several other similar robberies. That was as of 2018. So let me throw this out there, black folks. This little girl is 1 year old. Minus 9 months off of that, that's just under 2 years old. This crime happened 4 years ago. At least the one he was caught for. So what does that mean? That means even though you probably already had the son, let me see if I can get his face up here. or at least a blurred out picture of his face. Right here. So even though you probably already had the son, what could the mom have done if you knew that this nigga was broke? Maybe don't have the other kid. Maybe get your tubes tied. Maybe practice abstinence. Maybe get on birth control. Maybe wear a condom. Maybe get a NuvaRing. Maybe take the depot shot. Maybe do something. But having children is a choice. At this point, maybe you didn't know that he was out here thugging, getting it in the streets when he was 18 years old. But guess what you did know? When he was 20 to 21 years old, you did know. Or you should have known. You knew he was out here thugging, robbing Domino delivery drivers for spare change. Here's one thing you can deduce. I'm going to use a big word, deduce. Here's what you can deduce from this situation. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world, and you don't even have to even do a background check. But one thing you can do is you can look at a person and tell, let's see, where does he go to work? Does he work a 9 to 5? Oh, okay, he's not working. So how is he bringing in money legally? So if he's doing something illegal, then maybe you shouldn't be having unprotected sex with the person who is not having a legal job. There's a lot of ways you could go about this. Maybe don't have children with a man that's under the age of 30 years old. I think that would be an amazing solution for a lot of these situations. But let me give you guys the fair usage because I know I've said a lot. I know I've already pissed off some of y'all. So let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys would do me a favor, like I said, I know not everybody's going to understand where I'm coming from. Please remember, keep the kids first. Do me a favor and click that thumbs up. Share the memory of Leilani because this is really a tragedy to her and her brother and how messed up these situations continue to happen and we're not doing anything to stop it. Here we go.
Do have breaking news. She was just a year old. Her body found in shallow waters in Long Beach. Now, the baby's father is facing murder and child endangerment charges surrounding her death.
Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia is live in Inglewood where he spoke with the infant's grieving mother. Sid?
Guys, this is a very heartbreaking story. This all happened Sunday night when the suspect's own mother was the one who called police asking about her missing granddaughter. And this afternoon, a devastated mother is just simply asking, why did this happen?
My daughter, she was murdered by her father. He pulled her off the bed.
Leilani Dream Burley was only a year old. Lanisha Hull says the baby's father, 22-year-old Javion Burley, picked up their kids Sunday night like he normally does. He returns them on Wednesday. Sunday night, according to the family, he takes the couple's son to his mom's house. He doesn't have their daughter. The family says they found out yesterday that the baby was found in shallow water in Long Beach and that the father was in custody.
He came to my home to pick up my kid. He was angry at the time, but normal though. He was normal. He didn't look like he was planning something or anything at all.
I'm going to rewind that. I did not understand a word that she just said. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean no disrespect. I'm going to play this again and y'all tell me if y'all understand any English words that she just said. Let's listen at that again. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't understand a word she said.
Father was in custody.
He came to my home to pick up my kid. He was angry at the time, but normal though. He was normal. He didn't look like he was planning something or anything at all.
I know I'm about to go to hell for what I'm thinking about saying, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Swear I'm not going to say it. But let me tell y'all how bad it is. She could have a speech problem. She could be deaf. I don't really know. I honestly don't know. It was so bad that in one of these videos, and you guys, and yeah, I didn't see no tears. Did y'all see any tears? I didn't see any. You say she's deaf? Okay. Oh, wow. Oh. 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 Says she's hearing impaired. Okay, I knew something was wrong. And the reason I was going to say that is because if you watch, I got a couple more news videos, they actually pull up subtitles. I thought I had the subtitles on. No, I actually didn't. What they did was they actually put, I swear to you, watch, I'll show you. They put up subtitles. I was just like, wow, I did not understand a word she was saying.
With police released a statement saying they've arrested the baby's father and that their investigation is ongoing.
How can you do that?
Was this her pillow?
This is my dad's pillow. I carry it with me every day.
I didn't see any tears.
Yeah, we spoke to the one-year-old's devastated mother. She tells us her family is rallying around her, helping her to try to make sense of all of this. She tells us that when her children's father came to pick them up on Sunday, there was no argument, no tension, no signs of trouble, which makes all of this all the more confusing.
I'm gonna behave. I promise. I promise y'all I am. I'm gonna behave.
A devastated mother asks God why. Her love and heartbreak told through Instagram stories.
More.
1-year-old Leilani Dream Burley, or Lonnie, was learning to sign, loved books, praising the Lord, and frosting. That's why her mother, Lanisha Hull, can't believe her baby was murdered, allegedly by dad, 22-year-old Javion Burley. This is his booking photo from an unrelated arrest in San Bernardino County 4 years ago. Englewood police say it was the suspect's own mother who called them Sunday after he went to Long Beach to pick up his 2 kids from their mom and came back with only 1 child. On Instagram, Hull detailed how for more than a day, Burley refused to tell them where Leilani was, saying, "Don't worry about it, she's fine." But she wasn't. Police say they found little Leilani's body in the LA River under the Ocean Boulevard Bridge in Long Beach. Now Hull is posting detailing her baby's short but beautiful life, even sharing this photo taken just days ago, not knowing it would be the last. Hull is asking her story be spread to bring justice for little Leilani, the 1-year-old with gorgeous big eyes, a sweet smile, and a family who desperately loved her.
She's a beautiful little girl. Let's keep going. A couple more news videos. I'm going to find that one that had the subtitles. I had never seen nothing like that, except for people who couldn't speak English. Okay, let's think about this for a minute. You said, does he have a booking folder when he was 17, 18 years old? Yes, Mookie, yes. Somehow, even if we're blind and deaf, we still end up with thugs in the black community and making babies by thugs. Isn't that something? But what's crazy is she's not blind. Wasn't nothing wrong with her fingers. Could have typed in a website, did a background check, and find out, oh, this man is a multi-time criminal. maybe I shouldn't be having sex with a man who ain't got a job. So she had enough sense, enough wherewithal to have sex and become a mother, but it's wrong of me to say that she shouldn't have had a baby by a thug, that was a bad choice, because that's what parenting is, deciphering between good choices and bad choices. Am I right or am I wrong? And if you can't decipher between right and wrong, good or bad, evil or righteous, then you shouldn't be a parent.
Good evening. Javion Burley is now facing murder and assault charges for allegedly killing his baby girl,
Let's see if I can
Leilani.
find it.
And Burley from gun officers, police, disbelief, as you can imagine. Baby's mother is holding a vigil tonight here in Long Beach. It's supposed to start at around at 7 o'clock tonight, and there will also be a balloon release, and we will be there.
Murder charges. Stop doing balloon releases. Stop doing that.
Is filed today against a man accused of killing his own baby daughter who was just a year old. Our Rob Hayes reports from the courthouse in Long Beach.
Charged with murder and in court for his first appearance.
Mr. Burley, good afternoon to you. You have a right to be arraigned today.
Javion Burley accused of killing his one-year-old daughter, Leilani. Her body found in the waters of the LA River under the Ocean Boulevard Bridge in Long Beach.
She was murdered by her father. He pulled her off the bed.
That's Lanisha Hull, the mother of the dead girl, in an emotional interview with Eyewitness News earlier this week. She says Burley picked up Leilani and her 3-year-old brother Sunday night in Long Beach, but that when he arrived at his mother's home in Inglewood, Leilani was missing.
He was angry at the time, but normal though. He was normal. He didn't look like he was planning something or anything at all.
In court today,
y'all saw that, right? They had up subtitles. Fine, like I said, you can't understand her very well, but I had never seen nothing like that.
It's missing.
He was angry at the time, but normal though. He was normal. He didn't look like he was planning something or anything at all.
In court today, Burley and his attorney asked for more time before making a plea. He's charged with murder and assault on a child causing death. Investigators have not said how the toddler died and whether or not she was dead before she was thrown into the river. Burley's bail has been set at $2,050,000. He's due back in court January 10th.
A 1-year-old child found dead in the LA River. The child's father arrested, charged with murder. The heartbroken mother pledging on social media to get justice for her little girl. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand joining us with the latest on.
We could actually stop it right there. I think you guys get the point. It's just to say that now they already made the decision to bring this little girl into this world. That's something you can't undo. And I wouldn't ask that they undo that. But at the same time, I'm asking for those who might be looking at these situations before we get to this point, especially with our young women, our young mothers, to stop procreating with thugs. I'm calling this man a thug because he didn't have a job. He was robbing Domino's delivery drivers. I'm assuming he didn't have a reputable job while robbing Domino's delivery drivers. I'm assuming he didn't have a job. So he out in the streets thugging. You would have had to have known that. And you still made a kid with him. He was doing this at age 18, 2018. That would have made him 18 years old. 4 years prior, this little girl was 1 year old, which means that add 9 months to that, 2 years, let's just say 24 months ago, 2 years ago, you made a conscious choice to still bring this child into this world with that man who isn't doing anything productive with his life to prove that he's going to be a responsible father. And that's what has to stop. It doesn't matter whether people like this have hearing impairments, speech impairments, financial impairments, whatever impairments, judgment impairments. All of these stories end up the same way. And when you date thugs, you date death. And that's what has to stop. There are so many people who listen to my videos each and every day. Make sure to share these videos, because when we get to this point, we're going to just see and say, hey, we told you. Give him a life sentence, get him out of here, and we move on, because that's all we can do. But that's such a beautiful little girl, and I really wish that princess would have been put in a more advantageous position. Beautiful, beautiful little girl. Young Princess Leilani, R.I.P. To that alleged father, that man needs no mercy. Y'all type that in the chat. #0 mercy. That man is a criminal. He's been a criminal, and he's probably done, and they're probably going to prove it in court, the worst thing possible to his own daughter. But he is a traitor to his own family, a traitor to his DNA, a traitor to his family tree, a traitor to fathers, just in general. But I hope he gets life in prison or worse. But thank you guys so much for listening. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you.